Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by PrizePicks. Sign up for PrizePicks today and use that promo code Leading Off when you do. It's me, Joey P. That, of course, is the Welsh, and it's you, the Peanuts, the Cracker Jacks, talking baseball. It's a light schedule. It's a light Thursday schedule, a couple day games, a few night games. It's not a lot of DFS chatter, so we're going to have a lot of fantasy to talk about today, Welsh. And I see the chat is already hot. Lots of things going on here in the chat. Here's one from Houston 34. 314. Joey P. and Welsh. I have a guy inquiring about Jonathan India. What kind of trade value should I be looking for in return? What are your thoughts on trying to move on from Jonathan India of the Reds, Welsh?
Trade value is kind of hard to garner exactly what it is based on the league, but 290 average, 8 stolen bases, 3 homers. I think that's pretty good. I want to say off the top of my head, I'm not looking at ranks at all, but India's performed at like a top 5, 6 second baseman. So I'd probably treat him accordingly. I think it's been a top 100 player. So, someone of equivalent value in that range. Those are stolen bases at second base are pretty impressive, as well as the overall hit tool. And hey, strikeouts are down. Get some more of these young kids up there. Maybe Jonathan India is, batting around, getting more RBIs and get more run opportunities when LEs and the CESs and whatnot are there.
Well, he was a good draft day value, that's for sure, especially in a market at second base that was not very good coming into the season. There was no reason not to give a shot at a bounce back. I know a lot of people were down on him, but it's hard to be down on him considering what the ADP was. But at Fantasy Pros, we got the trade value chart up there too. So you could always plug in India's name and see what kind of guys kind of pop up there in exchange. Let's talk about the headlines from yesterday. Kyle Tucker delivered a game-winning 2-run single there in the 9th. So good on that. Lots of exciting baseball last night too. Ronald Acuna launching a solo homer and stole a base Wednesday. He continues to be absolutely on fire so far this season. But really, the story of last night has got to be the New York Mets. Pete Alonso, 3-run walk-off homer. Mark Vientos making his 2023 debut. He goes yard for the Mets with a big game-tying blast. So this is it. Let the kids play. I know it's only one game, but the intensity after the game too, the Pete Alonso dropping F-bombs on the post-game interview.
Oh, let's play it. Let's play the audio.
I don't think we can. I wish we could. I wish we lived in a world where we could. But, again, it's just one game. But if ever a team needed a win like that, it's certainly the New York Mets. Pete Alonso's been ice cold, by the way, too. 196 batting average over his last 15 games. So he needed to break out as well.
I wanted to comment, too. I love your idea of, hey, let the kids play. Guess what they're doing with Mark Vientos today? He's sitting on the bench. Buck was asked about it today, and they're like, oh, we think Vogelbach's a pretty good option. It's so stupid. Mark Vientos had all 4 of his hits, the bat connecting with the ball, hard hit, 96 plus miles per hour every single time he made contact. 2 were over 100. So, let the kids play except every day and let Vogelbach get out there because, he's a good option.
I don't understand. It's like the kid gets up there, hits a home run. That's exactly what you want. And look, Vogelbach hasn't been awful. He's one of the few guys who's actually hit for the Mets this year. But it's so bizarre. Like, I just don't understand. Just go all in on this youth movement. Sometimes you need a bunch of the kids who don't know any better. And we've seen some of these teams in recent years kind of pop off, where you have all these kids come up kind of at one time and things just kind of roll from there. It's what happened to the Cubs years ago, too, when they had their run with the Rizzos and the Schwarbers and all those guys. I don't know, man. I don't get it.
It makes me feel that they don't have a good grip on their own roster, what's going on. Because, when you have these type of Mark Vientos, 330, 11 homers in the minors this year, completely cut his strikeout rate. Everything looks good. When you see that, and you see, Brett Beatty hasn't been awesome, but, he's still working through it. When you have both of those guys, and you can put them out in your roster, yet you're still hedging your bets, being like, "No, we don't want to get rid of Eduardo Escobar. No, we don't want to get rid of Vogelbach." It makes me feel like they don't know what the hell they have because they're terrified if they hand something over, it's not going to work, and then they're going to be stuck again. Make a move, figure out what the hell you're doing, and get those guys out of there. Get Escobar, okay, maybe he could be a platoon player and he can play second and stuff. Get Vogelbach out of there. Give that to Beatty. Give that to Vientos. That's your third and DH. At this point, though, unfortunately, I think this is clearly a third base platoon between 2 rookies, which is stupid. Super stupid.
Horrendously stupid. But they can't keep Mauricio down much longer either. So go and start picking up that kid too. He's been absolutely brilliant. There's only so much more time. I don't care about the defense at this point. This guy's just crushing baseballs everywhere.
Yeah, for a
James
platoon,
Outman.
outfield platoon.
Yeah, right. James Outman started off like a house on fire. He's cooled off of late. He hadn't had a hit in a week, and he was hitting just a $182 with 18 strikeouts over his last 50 plate appearances. But last night, 2 for 4 with a grand slam there for him. Red Sox manager Alex Cora made a announcement about Nick Pivetta. So Nick Pivetta is now going to get moved to the bullpen. So Brian Bello and James Paxton, who just returned from injury, are going to stick in the rotation, at least for now. So, Welsh, what does this mean for Bello and Paxton? We knew somebody had to get ousted here, and it turns out Pivetta is that guy.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's good for both of them. Baez played really well. Yeah, I'm a little dicey on Paxton's stuff looks so good. I just kind of have a hard time believing like he's crazy trustworthy. But I mean, you follow the stuff and you just go. So this is good. The easy answer, this is good for both of them so they can stay in the rotation. So I'm all about it because Nick Pivetta, dude, I targeted Nick Pivetta anytime I could. Anytime he was out there, whatever the other team was, give me the team total runs. That's what I wanted every single time.
Yeah, agreed 100% there. Also, Mike Trout 1 for 3 with a solo homer, and a little switch it up, reverse it.
Better than how I do it.
Anything's better than how you do it. Let's talk about how Taj Bradley's going to do it because he's going to start today against the New York Mets. So here we go. We're back again with Taj Bradley. So are we going to see the Taj Bradley with a 3.52 ERA and 23 strikeouts and 2 walks over 15 innings of his 3 major league starts? Or are we going to see who's gotten his brains beat in at AAA ever since getting sent down? Welsh, your thoughts?
I don't know. I looked, so a while back, what did I do? I did the like major league versus his 2 minor league starts. And I kind of showed you guys that clearly the Rays got to him and said, we want you to do stuff different. So I went and looked at the last start. So, because all of them have been bad since he's been down there, just to see if anything else had changed. So what changed was when he came off of the majors, it looked like they wanted him to throw his cutter less. So he kind of did that. This last start, his cutter was the same percentage, but his fastball was down. So they were both 37%. His changeup was up around 20%, but his curveball is still gone. I think since he's been in the minors in over 3 starts, he has thrown approximately 8 curveballs. So like that thing is done. And he was throwing that in the major. So I don't know. This pitch mix thing seems to have affected. I don't know if they did a Bryce Miller and said, hey, we just want you to be throwing this for strikes and learn to do this or that. And then he's going to get out and he's going to have free reign. So I don't know what we're getting into. So I'm scared. I don't want to start him if I don't have to. He
Not
might
even
be
scared.
awesome.
You're like
scared.
scared.
I'm
You're
scared. He's had 6 or more strikeouts in every major league appearance, but I just don't know what we're in for here. So I'm a little bit dicey. Frankly, I might like the over, especially through the first 5 in that game between Wells
Tyler
and him.
Was terrible on the other end of that game today. I wouldn't be shocked of that too.
Yeah. So you just got to see. We're going to have to like go back and analyze and see what it is because I thought that curveball was such a good piece to keep batters off. That seems to, for the most part, been scrapped. So I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm cautiously optimistic though.
All right. A lot of people in the chat talking about Mr. Morel for the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
Evil Zilla here talking about how he's mashing right now. Now, he has been. You pointed out, too, look, there's a downside to this player as well, but he's hitting at the top of the order. He's hitting high right now in the trough. Is Morel somebody for you that this is the perfect time? Like, hey, he's come up. He's been on fire. You look to move him soon? Or do you just kind of enjoy the wave here since you picked him up and he's performing so well?
No, I think you ride the wave because like my big thing with him right now is just where does he end up landing? Like, is he going to be able to stick around? It's a horrific K rate for this year. It's almost 39%, which is just not sustainable. He has a 500 BABIP. It's going to come down, but he hits the ball really, really hard. So he gets away with some stuff. We're not seeing him steal a whole lot. I think he's one of those guys that you want to speculate on and own anywhere in like a 12 team, but I'm not looking to move him because I think the upside is there. And I just don't think there's like any value in trading him, but yeah, I would be picking up Morel. I'd get him out there and let's see what happens when he levels out. Cause he's not leveled out right now. 500 BABIP, that ain't going to work. Nico Horner, not quite back yet. So let's see what happens with that. And there is literally no way a 38.9% K percentage is sustainable in Major League Baseball. So that's got to get better.
Agreed. All right. So more rookie lookies, not just Taj Bradley. Anthony Volpe, not in the lineup yesterday for the last game there, or not even the last game, second last game here between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. So like he's really had a rough May. 206. I know he's got some home runs, but he's got 20 strikeouts, just 3 walks through 15 games since May 1st. Again, I am not concerned about the long-term Anthony Volpe stock. The short-term one is concerning. I think there is a world where you might see him get sent down to AAA for a month. Do you think that that's something that's imminently happening? And if so, how much does that hurt him in these deeper leagues? Like if you're at rostering Anthony Volpe here, you've been trying to hold on. In the shallow leagues, it's easy to cup 8 and just kind of move on, especially if he gets sent down. But in the deeper leagues, you kind of feel like he's going to get sent down. And if he does, he'll probably get right. He'll probably figure it all out, come back and be very good, because we've seen that happen with these top prospects before so many times. But it's a tough situation there. So how do you handle Volpe in redraft leagues right now?
I think in shorter leagues, like 10-team leagues, you could move on if you needed to. I just have a lot shorter of a leash in 10-team leagues because there's so many great prospects that are coming up left and right. The counting stats I think are crazy encouraging, even though he has sucked. For all intents and purposes, he's kind of sucked. He still has 13 stolen bases and 6 homers and a double-digit walk percentage, but the strikeouts are just about at 30%. I think redraft, if there are good options, you can move on. I'm holding. I think this is going to rebound. I think this is a great dynasty buy opportunity as well, especially if he gets sent down.
Great buy low.
I would be all over that for sure. But there's just too many good guys coming up left and right. Maybe a little bit less hitting, but there's an argument to say that, like, if you're in a points league, like Casey Schmidt might be safer than a guy like Anthony Volpe right now.
Well,
he's hitting and he's going to stick around.
But he's such a big contact guy. Look, Volpe will be fine eventually. I think he was a little rushed. I really do. I thought he could have dealt with a little bit more seasoning, but look, I appreciate the Yankees trying to be aggressive. At the end of the day, it's a tough situation in redraft leagues for Volpe, and it all depends on where you are in the standings for me. Uncle Ted seems to be in a better mood today. Question from Uncle Ted, Miguel Vargas or Chris Morel rest of season? I'm going with Vargas. Vargas has been very good these last couple weeks, kind of quietly so. He has really picked things up. This is an easy one for me, Welsh. Which side are you on, Vargas or Morel?
I don't know if it's easy, but I'm going to go with Miguel Vargas. He's not doing anything to lose his job. Okay, it's fine. It's easy for you. I don't think he's done anything to lose any gig anytime soon, even though they've got like a gajillion players, that can play second and first and everything. I go with Miguel Vargas over Morel. But if Morel chills with the strikeouts and has a gig, he will probably beat Miguel Vargas in most of the fantasy categories. So I'll just throw that out there as well.
Couple more rookie lookies. Matthew Liberatore made his 2023 debut, and he was pretty good, striking out 6 guys in 5 scoreless innings. That'll do. That'll definitely do.
He also, before we move on from that, I cited this on CBS last night, but he had a 67-inch vertical break on his curveball, which would rank top 10 in baseball right now. And of those guys, the top 10 in vertical break, there's like 4 starters. It's the highest average fastball because he averaged around 95. He hit 97, but he threw a lot of curveball. He was fastball, curveball. Stuff Plus hated him as far as fastball. It was like a 78 Stuff Plus, but his curveball was a little over 100. I thought he was pretty phenomenal. I thought the curveball was awesome. He didn't even have to show off all his other offerings. Curve had a whole bunch of whiffs on it. Fastball wasn't cool. Like, it didn't metric, like from a model perspective, it didn't weigh really well, but I thought he was commanding it good. He was throwing it high up in the zone, which the Cardinals asked him to do. I thought this was like a really, really good, encouraging start for him. And the thing in the broadcast they had said was they wanted him to be able to maintain velo throughout the start, and he did that again. So I thought that was fantastic. I thought this was good, and he is definitely a pickup across pretty much any format.
Yeah, he hit 98. And of course, Mike Mayer, he can't wait to talk about this. I have it in the chat here already, not even the chat. He's posting in the chat. I have it in the show sheet already because he gained 20 pounds over this offseason. And, his reasoning was, and I quote, "You can't shoot a cannon out of a canoe." There you go. This is straight from Matthew Liberatore himself. Well, he was so excited, Mayor, that he found this quote. And I was like, I'll put it in the show. And it's in the show.
You want to know the worst part about this is? Because, yes, I've heard all the Welshism and everything. Is I read that quote. I instantly knew what he meant, and I didn't even see what the problem was until someone was like, "Oh, this is a total Welshism," and I'm like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, a canoe." It completely, those, you ever seen those like scrambled words where it's like, if you can read this
Yes,
backwards, you're blah blah.
Uh-huh.
That's how that was for me. I was like, "Hey, I know exactly what this means. I'm totally cool with this." And I didn't know there was a problem.
I imagine it would be very difficult to shoot a cannon out of a canoe. Lots of issues with that. A lot of problems potentially.
Yeah.
And of course, Mark Vientos, their last rookie. Way to go, kid. Way to bail us out. Way to save our rear ends last night after we've been so bad. Now sit on the bench. Stupid. All right, let's talk about injuries here. Manny Machado has a small fracture in his left hand. He underwent some additional imaging this week and revealed a small fracture. So we don't know if he's going to go on the IL. My guess is he's going to go on the IL. So prepare like he is going on the IL, because there's a good chance he will go on the IL. Tristan McKenzie will make his first minor league start, rehabbing from that shoulder injury in AAA Columbus. That's going to happen on Saturday, so we'll keep a close eye on that over the weekend. Carlos Rodon threw from 90 feet. Luis Severino also will start Sunday against the Reds, so he's going to be back. So good news for that Yankee rotation, especially with Domingo Germán gone for 10 games. So there you go. Luis Severino right on time. Liam Hendricks could potentially return for the White Sox this weekend. Great story there. Also, speaking of the White Sox, Eloy Jimenez told reporters that he hopes to return next week. Jose Altuve, another possible return on Friday, as we mentioned earlier. He was on that rehab. We were hoping he would get him by potentially the end of the week. It looks like that's going to happen against the A's, which is like playing a AAA team anyway. So there you go, or maybe a single A team at this point. The Rangers yesterday activated Corey Seager, so he is back. Jorge Polanco, though, was dealing with a mild hamstring, and Ross Stripling was removed Wednesday with lower back tightness. And sometimes, Welsh, when you're on the pole, working as hard as Stripling does, as we mentioned yesterday, sometimes, the back issues are going to, they're going to creep up from time to time. Don't you think?
Did you say Stripling on the pole?
I did say Stripling. We were talking about the exotic dancer names yesterday, and Ross Stripling being one of them.
Fellas, Genesis Cabrera is going to stage 3 in 2 minutes. Come on down.
Genesis Cabrera. All right. It is the greatest exotic dancer name ever. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying stripper. I'm saying exotic dancer, like it's a profession.
Yeah, no, you're being very, very.
I'm very much good. So. Dustin May. This was not good. So Dustin May diagnosed with a flexor pronator strain. He was removed yesterday. He was not long for this start yesterday. The problem is they hope he's going to avoid surgery, Welsh. But he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks regardless. Now, going into the season, you and I talked quite a bit about the Dodgers. And my whole thing with the Dodgers was, I'm not worried about the stars. I'm worried about the back of the rotation. And Syndergaard has been terrible. And Dustin May is now on the shelf for 6 weeks to the year. So here we go. Where do the Dodgers go from here? Do they make a trade? Do they call up the White Sox and try to pry one of those guys? Or is there somebody from is it the Stones or what's the other fella there who's killing it?
Bobby Miller.
Emmett.
My guy, Emmett Sheehan. Yeah,
Emmett Sheehan.
It's going to be internal for them. This is what they'll do. So my gut says that it's going to be Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone had a really good last start. 10 strikeouts in there. Changeup was a problem in the majors last time. Hopefully they work through a thing. I just think that makes the most sense. He's locked in. The next option would be Bobby Miller, who's coming off of his best start of the season, and Emmett Sheehan, who I want to pound the table for, but he is in Double-A, and these two guys are ahead of him. Emmett Sheehan, though, just had a 5-inning, 10 strikeout game. He's phenomenal. AFL last year. So the Dodgers have 3 legit options. But I think what they've got to do is I think they've got to cross Gavin Stone on or off. And that's why you bring him back up and see what you don't just jump past him again. So I think they've got to figure out, is this the option or not? Then you would go to Bobby Miller. I got to tell you, though, I would not be shocked if when Gavin Stone in whatever capacity was kind of done, or they wanted to add another guy, if Emmett Sheehan did jump Bobby Miller, because Bobby Miller is still getting his feet under him. Emmett Sheehan had a great year last year, a killer AFL, one of the best pitchers in the AFL last year that I saw. Yeah. And he has had one of the best minor league seasons among any pitcher this year, one of the highest K percentages. He's been super efficient. So they've got a ton of great options. They don't need to go out and trade.
Yeah. Of course, here we go. FantasyPros MLB, there's Mayor here, the Mayor Bear. Which current MLB player has the best exotic dancer name? The answer, Ryan Mountcastle. I don't think it is. I still think it's Genesis Cabrera by a wide margin. We'll take other ones though, potentially.
Run
Tyler
a poll. Right? You
Glasnow.
could run a poll if you want, Mayor. You can put a couple names in there. Genesis Cabrera.
Yeah, you're gonna run a poll about the exotic dancer names. You gonna see that? See,
All
play
right.
on words. There you
All
go.
right.
Tyler Glasnow, he's tall like a pole. He will make an additional minor league rehab start for AAA. So hopefully, barring any setbacks, he'll be back in the rotation next week. Tyler Glasnow, I hope. He was really good in the last start too. I mean, he was just flat out dominant there. So fingers crossed. That's all we can hope to do with Tyler Glasnow. Certainly, they could use him in that Rays rotation, no doubt about that. Now, here's some fun stuff for you. We like fun on the program. So yesterday, Jake Berger, who was back from injury, went 3 for 4, hit his 10th home run. I don't know where Jake Berger's come from, but the White Sox broadcast team.
Does he really have 10?
He's got 10 home runs, Jake Berger.
Crazy.
This is the quietest 10 home runs all season. When he went on the IL, that's the only reason I knew he was at 9. Because I looked up and said, what? He's got 9 home runs. How did that happen? Because he had gotten called up early in the year, obviously, when there was injuries, and then stuck around when Eloy, was Eloy eventually. But here we go. So the White Sox broadcast team put out a graphic that Berger had before this home run swung at 22 consecutive pitches, which was the most in MLB this season by a wide margin. 22. So he's just up there hacking. And then after they said that he swung at 22 in a row, the 23rd was the home run. I just thought that was pretty awesome there. And
I have an affinity for Jake Berger. I was at the spring training game where he blew out his leg, and I was like behind, so I was just seeing the backside run and then tumble, and you were like, oh, it was like slow motion. You're like, oh no. And then for him to have made the recovery, also maybe the quietest 10 homers that any baseball player has ever hit. That is shocking to me.
I know.
Has that many.
Jake Berger, 10
no
bombs.
Idea.
And I'll never get to do this segue again. Speaking of burgers, the St. Louis Cardinals have a new ritual. So everyone's got home run rituals. So apparently they have a burger phone. I don't know if you saw this. I didn't see it till last night.
Oh, wait, what
Did
is
you see
this?
This is a real thing. I did not doctor this at all. Shout out to Ethan, who does our graphics here at Leading Off. I saw this last night. So apparently Adam Wainwright has this burger phone in the picture, and they open the burger phone when they're calling a home run. So they lift up the burger phone, and sure enough, last night they lifted up the burger phone and someone went yard. I forgot who it was in the Cardinal game, but it's wild. So kind of like Leading Off, they've got a little pool going on, picking home runs. So I thought this was cool. Shout out to Adam Wainwright trying to hang out in our Discord and pick home runs. But the burger time, kind of fun. I also think that they should replace the bullpen phone with the burger phone. Like that should be automatic, right?
Ooh, I like that a lot. I think that would be the play. I'm all for this. Is a great thing for baseball, by the way. These guys, they should do so much more of this. Every team should have their crazy home run celebration-y type of thing. Start changing the duck. If you got burger phones, put them everywhere. I think this is great.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, they had the football phone, right? When you had you get Sports Illustrated, you get all these issues for free and all these things. And then you also get
totally remember
this football phone or the helmet phone.
One thing I don't think I'm quite understanding. So this isn't a home run celebration. The pitchers are calling the home run by picking up the phone.
They're basically opening the lid of the home. They're basically, okay, this is home run time. They're very careful of it. But they're calling. I don't know if they have a rule system yet, or if they can only do it once a game. I don't know. I'd
like to know more about it. Can we just see a picture of the dong bong?
Sure. Why?
I don't know. We're talking about we can talk about Mountcastle. We're talking about celebrations. There you go, Mayor.
There's another good one right here. Look at the trident. I mean, the trident's really cool. I think the trident still.
I like the trident a lot. I really
a little bit more masculine than the burger phone.
There's something nice about that.
Take a good look at both of those things together on the YouTube channel. Again, subscribe to FantasyPros MLB YouTube. There's the trident, and there's Adam Wainwright with. I like
the Angels one with the big, the samurai hat and whatever. I like that.
The Angels one with the samurai hat. It's very cool as well. Yeah. All right, 3 up and 3 down from yesterday. Seiya Suzuki went 3 for 3, 2 homers, 3 RBI. Adolis Garcia. Pair of solo home runs, lots of duos last night. And Kodai Senga on my bench after last week recorded 12 strikeouts against the Rays. That happened yesterday. He got no decision, but 12 strikeouts for him. 3 down. Here we go. Graham Ashcraft. I told you he was overrated. I don't understand. We had a whole thing about this 2 or 3 weeks ago about I don't get all these Graham Ashcraft questions I'm getting like he's some kind of great prospect pitcher. I don't see it. 5 innings, 10 hits, 7 earned. Tatis, who I picked yesterday to go yard, and for my prize pick, he went 0 for 5. Boo. Boo, 0 for 5 against the Royals. How dare you? And Marco Gonzalez, who has got to get bounced from this rotation. He's got a 6.10 ERA, 1 inning and a third, and 2/3, excuse me. I don't want to I want to take away any credit for how long he lasted in this game with the 8 hits and 8 earned runs he gave up. So the Mariners now have, in my opinion, at least 2 holes in this rotation. Mariners got to get going here. Is there anybody in that Mariner system who could get a look here besides Bryce Miller anytime soon? Or have they exhausted between Kirby and Gilbert and Miller? Now they've got to look elsewhere.
They could go to Emerson Hancock and Taylor Dollard. I think those are the two. There's a guy, Prelander Baroa, who's got really awesome stuff, but he's been moved to the bullpen. So I think he's going to be a bullpen help down the line for this team. But those are the 2 internal options. I think Emerson Hancock is probably in the same general, good range as Bryce Miller. And I do not want to see I don't want to see anyone bring his name up for the exotic dancer name. Just keep it to yourselves, because I just thought of it. But yes, Emerson Hancock would be the.
I wasn't going to. Sometimes things need not be said. That's the beauty of this show. It's like, we just kind of leave it to your imagination sometimes. So, let's move on here from that. Let's go to, of course, what everybody wants from us is the prize picks of the day. Head over to prizepicks.com or just download the app. Use that promo code leading off. It's very important. You have to use the promo code leading off because they're our sponsor of the show. You get 100% deposit match up to $100. You put $100 in, they match it. Leading off. It's brilliant. Welsh, get some prize picks for us today. It's a limited slate. Slim pickings out there today.
And I made it's called a hater sandwich. So this is a hate with a good and a hate. So this is a hater sandwich pick for the 3. So the top bun, Hanser Alberto hits run RBI 1.5 under. Hanser Alberto. Yeah. The good portion of our hater sandwich will be Mike Trout. I'm going to take the fantasy score 7 up. We're going to go over. And then the bottom layer of our hater sandwich here on Prize Picks is Ahmed Rosario fantasy score 6.5 under. So those are my plays. So Hanser Alberto hits runs RBI under. Ahmed Rosario score 6.5 under. Mike Trout score 7 over.
There you go. For me today, Yuri Perez over on the 5 pitcher strikeouts. Julio Urias over against St. Louis Cardinals 5 pitcher strikeouts. Again, I'm just looking for the low numbers today. And Wander Franco over 7.5 hitter fantasy score against Tyler McGill. In terms of betting today, it's a light day. So I like the Mets at -105, the Yankees at +110 on the money line. Period. End of story. It's just a light day. Sometimes it's going to happen. We've had a couple heavy days this week. This is a lighter one. It doesn't mean it can't be fun, but this might be one of those days where, if you're sitting around and you're watching baseball, or you're sitting around and you're in your office or something like that, and you want to do some live betting, there might be some opportunities for that. But anything going into these games, it's just not super exciting for me, Welsh. What do you have for the people today?
Yeah, and by the way, I just realized the Angel game is going on right now, so you wouldn't be able to get the positive side of the sandwich, so I might have to give another negative. I will say Yuri Perez, even though it's at the 5Ks, I don't love that. I might throw that back in if we want to have the positive sandwich or find another negative, so apologies about the Mike Trout thing. So yes, and by the way, I had the Angels Baltimore over first 5 runs, which we couldn't talk about, so I've only got 2 bets that I'm really in on right now, and I do like them both very much, though. Tampa Bay. First 5 team total runs 2.5. That is plus money, anywhere from like even 100 to plus 125, like it was last night. So this is about attacking Tyler McGill. The Rays score a ton of runs. I believe they've been scoring around 6 through the first 5 over the last 3 games, and they score almost 4 runs through the first 5. So I love this matchup. So Tampa Bay, for them to score 3 runs through the first 5. And Yuri Perez, his strikeout number is starting to creep up a little bit. It's 4.5. It was -110. It's at -115. Washington doesn't strike out a ton, but Yuri Perez put up 7 in under 5 last time. I think we can do this again. I love the secondary offerings. I love the command. So I'm going to go with Yuri Perez to hit those 5 strikeouts -115.
Thanks, Michael, in the chat for letting me know Wander Franco's now sitting today. Oh, God, I hate everything. I hate everything.
Ooh, that makes me like my Tampa Bay a little bit less.
And you go with the Pete Alonso number instead and hope that Taj Bradley is the bad Taj Bradley. There's no DFS to speak of today. So instead of doing that, if you haven't already, go check out Sorare because it is really cool. Again, we keep telling you guys about this. I know some of you already signed up. We got a league going too, but fantasypros.com/collect. That's where you sign up. Again, it's free. So you don't have to put any money into this if you don't want to. It's just a free, fun thing to do. fantasypros.com/collect. Again, it's digital cards, it's fantasy baseball. And of course, you can join our league at fantasypros.com/leading off when you sign up. And we're giving away cool things here too. So bonus prizes. Everybody loves prizes. Receive a free subscription to MLB TV. So for the weeks 16, 18, 20, 22, and 26. So that's some cool stuff going on there with So Rare. So if you haven't checked it out, also Welsh just did a new video on So Rare too. It's up on the YouTube channel. The trade video is up. The waiver wire video just came out this morning with a breakdown of all those guys to pick up this week. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Bros MLB so you know what's going on. Now, here's the thing, Welsh. I have to change and pivot. I'm going to have to pivot to Pete Alonso because I just don't like a lot of things. Maybe the polar bear could say hot. Hopefully Pete Alonso's in the lineup today. I imagine he is. I have to double check that one right now. But in the meantime, let's take a quick lookie at the board. And we've got Primetime at top at 16. BHB Daddy at 15. Callison Zerto, Razor at 14. Larry C. Helpless in Miami at 13. Then Blue Harvester at 13. Then Houston 314 at 12. And Riley at 12. So Welsh still stuck at 11. Can't get on the board. But if you want to get on this board, sign up, fantasypros.com/chat. Remember, join the Discord. It's free. Somebody's going to win a Corbin Carroll helmet. And every month we're giving away free stuff too. We're giving away so many prizes. It's like being in the Price is Right in baseball. Like that's what we are basically. It's just a prize fest over here. Welsh, what do you have for the people today for the home run call? Because you've been better than me.
Your boy Alonso is in. He's hitting 4 for
Thank
the Mets
God.
today. But God, man, the Franco thing in there does make me rethink that bet. Not a great betting day. Don't love it. Might have to double down on Yuri.
As soon as I brought up things, I was just like, no. I
made my bet last night too, so that's gonna hurt me a little bit. On the home run call, I'm actually gonna go a little bit lower name than we have, but this is a direct attack against Joey P. Max Muncy. We're going to go with Max Muncy, your league leader, or at least still near the top. Max Muncy up against Adam Wainwright tonight. So I'm going to go with Max Muncy for my home run call. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Welsh woke up this morning and chose violence. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us in the chat. And if you haven't already, sign up for PrizePicks as well and use that promo code leading off when you do. Check out all the amazing content. We'll be back again tomorrow for a fun Friday. Not that every day isn't fun here, because it is. But I'm sure Friday we got a lot more information going into the weekend, a lot more moving parts. So it's going to be a fun show. We want you to be here with. And if you just listen on the pod and you haven't joined us yet live, come join this chat. This chat was insane today. It was live. It was fun. Can barely even keep up with it. And I love it. I love all you peanuts and Cracker Jacks out there. You're the reason we do this show. It's awesome. So it's great to have you all part of this fun little cult. And it is a cult, I think, in the best way that we're doing here and creating here at Fantasy Pros MLB. So thanks for joining us. As always, we'll be back again tomorrow to do it all again. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for the Welsh. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Bye, friends.
Bye-bye.